Three industry professionals collectively bring their opinions, taste buds, and personal critiques to tackle controversial and offensive topics over their favorite cigars and bourbon. Join us weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern at talkingsmokepodcast as we step out of the shadows of the industry and put on our no fear gear to speak on topics that you love to hear. Log on and join us. Talking Smoke Podcast. Grown Men Conversations. A visual orgasm for the people. And remember, where there's smoke, there's got to be fire.
What am I talking about? I don't agree with that.
Yours truly, J. Calloway here for Talking Smoke Podcast. We get into the particulars real quick like. We're talking to all the people out there who embellish or find value into sewing into others' brands, others' people's trends. I'm being PG-13, let me be real. We're talking to all the people out there that spend all their money on the brands, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to see if the grass is green on the other side, trying to figure out if this is going to bring them happiness, but yet don't invest in nothing other than other people's dreams and brands. We're talking to you. We're talking to our younger selves. We're actually exposing the truth behind it. We're just bringing enlightenment right here on Talk Smoke Podcast as DJ De Niro and myself get to the particulars. Shouts out to Tiger Fuller. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, so we appreciate it very much if you go back and send him a get well message. A shout out to him. You can hit us up on the email address at talkingsmokefans@gmail.com. talkingsmokefans@gmail.com. But in its absence, we're going to get to the real. So if you feeling some kind of way, a little salty, you feeling some kind of way, hey, good. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm sorry, not sorry. Right here on Talk Smoke Podcast. DJ De Niro going to bring us in. You go get your snacks. We're going to be right back. 2 and 2. J. Calloway, DJ De Niro, Talking Smoke. Because where there's smoke, there's got to be fire.
Picture this. Your business advertising right here on Talking Smoke Podcast. It's simple. All you have to do is inquire the email at the bottom, or you can call us at 770-370-4006. We'll do the rest. Just call. We're here for you. You'll wait. What's going on, boys and girls? Yours truly, J. Calloway here with Talking Smoke Podcast. That's right. We have a show tonight, and each and every night, if you haven't already heard, if you already haven't been subscribing and following us. Here on Talking Smoke Podcast, we talk about the latest and greatest topics that are controversial. We mean to wrinkle some feathers and, hurt some feelings every now and then. So if you got emotions and feelings, put them on your shelf or put them in your man purse. It gets real interesting. Right here every night, 8 p.m. Right here. That's what I just said. 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget your essential. No, not your lights off, but your popcorn and all your snacks. We are about to get to the particulars. Right here on Talking Smoke Podcast. Yours truly, J. Calloway. We'll see you at 8. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Right here.
Boom, boom, boom. It's yours truly, J. Calloway, with my host here, DJ De Niro, as we start to get into the particulars of another controversial topic right here on Talking Smoke Podcast. And where there's smoke, there's got to be some fire. Fire. This is what we're talking about this week. We're talking about fashion, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this might offend y'all, but our job is just to get to the bottom of things, just to kind of figure out where your mind at. We're talking about Draped and all these name brands. versus investing your money properly and having some type of a reward or investment on a return on your income. What's your thoughts out there? Now let's look deep, let's look long, and let's look hard into the mirror. Don't look at the Joneses left and right, but let's look directly into the mirror and let's question self. Are we more into buying into name brands of people we don't even know just so that we can have that social, I guess, that social bond with people that we don't even know, that don't really care about us, so we can fit in, so we can feel good? What's your take on it? Or do we feel like we should be investing more, and we do invest more for our future that's coming up, our kids? DJ De Niro, what's your thoughts on that, man?
Man, I think, to be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with having name brands or having something that you like, particular fashion type of, it's almost like having the style of your house, but that should not be your main goal. Like, I know some people right now standing in line for Jordans because Jordans come out and they got to have the Jordans, and they'll go and do all of this just to have the Jordans. Or when Chanel drops a new bag or Birkin drops a new bag, it's almost like a status thing, but it doesn't give you any type of return on your investment. It's ridiculous to me to take thousands of dollars and buy purses. But some females don't see it that way. Some females
and that's what I was just about to say. When we speak about logic, it's almost like looking at artwork. I mean, you have to kind of assess the value for that particular individual. I'll share a story with you that kind of makes sense to me. There was a young lady that worked with us, and we couldn't really understand her. It was a joke at first because it wasn't the norm. Most of us was working hard trying to put away our acorns for the wintertime, making sure that we leave a legacy for our kids. And this young lady came from a different background, and she loved the latest, greatest. It wasn't nothing for her to drop $10,000, $20,000 on a purse, let alone $800 to $1,000 for a pair of shoes. And if you weren't doing what she was doing, you wasn't on that same level. She was bred. She wasn't born that way, but she was bred that way. And that, it got me thinking, like I was saying, is what we value as individuals that makes that logic. Because, I mean, as you can attest, I mean, we've been around people who say, you can't take it with you, so this. And then at the same token, we've been around people, same time. There's a gentleman that you and I both been around, like Tony Fleming. He invests a whole lot. He believes in the future, So, right. I mean, what do you think about the example? I mean, what I know you said right off the bat. What?
No, because I think it's ignorance. I was told that a purse is an investment, but if you don't have the money to go inside the purse, why would you spend $10,000, $20,000 on the purse just to carry? For someone to possibly rob you for it, or I mean, it doesn't make you any type of money. It is no return on the investment whatsoever. $10,000 to me is supposed to make you some type of money. If you're gonna spend it frivolously, then you must have more money coming in. But if you are someone that's like really not making that type of money, and you just want to look like you have a status that's not really a true status, that's ignorance. It doesn't make any sense. It's like it's a waste of your money. It is stupid. And people are going out here. They selling their cars. They selling shoes. Some women are selling their bodies to get this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and guys are doing stuff like robbing. And, I mean, it's just stupid to have material things to me that doesn't make you any type of money. If you're going to invest in anything, you should invest in real estate invest in something that's going to have a higher percentage or higher return on your investment, because a Birkin bag ain't making you no money.
Mm-mm. So speaking on investments, and a lot of times, I know I think we have a common thought process. To me, it's about growth. Every day I grow. Every day I sharpen that sword so that I can actually give back to my siblings, so that I can show them a road that's less traveled, but yet the right way. So when we come up, a lot of times we make the wrong turn, we do the wrong things, we hang around the wrong people. So my question to you is: do you think this is something that is actually a part of like a generational curse? They see mama doing it, grandmama doing it, and they're not taught properly, or this is something that I know better, but you know what, I'm addicted to it and I just gotta have it. What do you think?
Now, I think it's what they see on TV.
On TV. Mm-hmm.
I think it's perpetuated through media, and and glorified through videos and through rap songs, and different type of media outlets, because what people see, they say, well, shoot, I want that. It's like people say, if they make a, I've asked guys, if you had over $100 million, what kind of car would you get? The first thing they say is a Bugatti. Now, why? Why? I mean, the thing is, you can't really drive it like that. It's not a Bugatti is not an everyday car. It's not meant to be driven every day. It is a show car. Let alone it is you talking about $3 million for a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to the maintenance on it cost as much as buying a brand new car, a brand new just everyday Ford or something. That's you talking the maintenance,
Thousands on just brakes by itself. So
right? You
these are
talking
not
about ten
cars.
thousand dollars for a brake job, ten thousand
ten to
dollars, sir.
$20,000 just for the brakes,
Right,
pads, not brakes, but
right,
just the pads.
right.
So yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna say I know we're on the same page, but I like to give back. You know what I'm saying? So let's address this topic not just for us, but the people that are in our communities. Because my goal before leaving this earth is not only just getting something for self, but actually to sow a seed, back into the community that I came from, or the people who are in my normal community. I had an opportunity to spend time with a lot of wealthy people. I've had an opportunity to spend time with a lot of people that come from my neck of the woods, which, if you don't know, I came from extreme poverty. But through the graces of God, hard work and dedication, I managed to make it out. So I look at things differently, because when I was coming up, even in college, I mean, they teach you, or they hound you, or you finally get an opportunity to go to college. But even when you get to a level like higher education, you're not taught properly if your parents are not teaching you. Some of your parents may know better. Some of your parents may not. So keeping up with the Kardashians or looking at the music videos, honestly, just be honest with you. Let me give you some information. When we were casting for different music videos, there were people that had a job title. All they did was shop for these artists. The clothes that you see them wearing don't belong to them. The cars you see
Right.
them driving are rented. A lot of the shoes that they got on got tape on the bottom of it. So they go in to paint this glorious picture for people like you to look at their music videos, so you can take money out of your pockets or your parents' pockets to buy an album or buy a song nowadays, so you can be hip to the latest and greatest. It's a business, people. So if you're not teaching your kids, leave it to us. We'll tell you the truth. And I just want to kind of give back on that. The movies, yeah, if you can afford it, you can afford it. Who am I to tell you what not to buy? But if you're trying to reach a plateau in life and you're trying to give back and you are barely making ends, there's no need for you to try to impress those or keep up with the Joneses, because they really don't care. If they don't like you broke, they're not going to like you rich, because money only amplifies the person that who you really are in the first place. So that's my take on um,
Yeah, that's
name
true.
brands. Name
That,
brands.
that's that's true. And then you going out. spending your hard-earned money for someone that probably when you meet them, not going to even acknowledge you. They might not even acknowledge the fact that you even have on their name brand. It's like, okay, so what? I mean, thank you. They might not even say thank you. You know
They
what I'm
don't.
saying?
They won't. And I tag in on that. I was actually at an event with Mark Echo. Mark
Mm-hmm.
Echo teamed up at this point with Nissan. They had this function where they were actually taking Nissan products, and this was back in the day when the Smurfs had first came to the silver screen. So they had the option to tear apart these Nissans and build them back up with the Mark Echo influence with the Rhino and all of this. And I was just as proud. You know, I walked up to him, and I had met many celebrities, but I had on a Mark Echo watch, which for us grown-ups, that really don't mean a whole bunch. You understand? It's just a watch. But I showed
Right.
him this watch. I'm like, yeah, man, I got your product. I like your designs, this, that, and the third. This guy looked at me and folded his arms and was like, oh, yeah, cool.
Right. So
So people don't care. They just don't care. It is what it is, man.
they
So
just made money off of you. And people, and the thing is, a lot of the times we don't see it that way because we feel like there's a status for us to have these things. Like, okay, this is status for me. I have status now because I got on Rockin' Robin jeans, or I got True Religion on, or I got this, that, and the third on. You know, me personally, if it looks good, I'm gonna buy it. I'm not gonna go out my way to go to the store and be like, "Oh man, I gotta pay $600 for these pants." No, I'm good on that. I can go to Target, Walmart even, and get some decent jeans or a decent pair of pants that I can wear just as long as I'm covering my body and I look. And I think, I think if you got confidence, it don't matter what you got on.
preach.
The confidence is what people are drawn to, not the clothes.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I might
I,
have to coin that saying.
yeah, go ahead and put a name brand on
Confidence, not the clothes.
that. Put that on the t-shirt. But I have a little story to tell you. So in the profession I was in, I usually get gifts at the end of Christmas, you know, birthdays and things of the nature. And I had a young lady that actually purchased me something. She was a client of mine, and I guess I'm not gonna say she's financially well off. And she bought me a gift that I didn't feel comfortable taking. So I discussed that with the wife, and she was okay with it. I took the gift, and it bothered me because of my values and my thought process. Not that I didn't think I was worthy enough to have it, but I thought about all the money, all the things I could do with that little chump change, as she probably thought it was, versus carry around something with a high value in my pocket all the time. And I really felt bad about that. And it goes to show you the value that we as individuals and humans, we put on things. Like I had a client that he owned a fleet of airplanes, and he came in and most people didn't want to wait on him because they thought it was cheap and they thought he was broke. Getting to talk to this guy, he was basically saying, I spend my time with my head in the clouds. And I was like, well, what does that mean? He goes, I'm a pilot. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of dope. How many planes you on? I got like 15 planes. Oh, okay. So what are we doing today? He was purchasing an automobile. The automobile that he was seeking at that point was just something to get him from point A to point B. He could care less about all the particulars. But if you get the average person that's just barely making it, they got to have everything because it makes them feel good. I got to have everything on. I got to have all of that, but I don't want to pay for it. There's people riding around the $1,200 to $1,500 to $3,000 car notes, living in apartment complexes, barely paying their bills right now.
Yeah, because they want to look that way. They want to look like they got something. And it don't make no sense. Like, why would you spend $1,500 to $3,000 a month on a car note.
Just because. Now, if you got it, let's go back to that. If you got it, you worked hard. Hey, who am I to tell you that it's
I
bad?
still ain't paying no $3,000 a month.
and that goes back to the individual. So just say, for instance, and I know I feel the same way. If I'm making $1 million, okay, let me give you an example. I had a guy that was making $1 million a month. I had a guy that was making $20,000 a month. So for him to pay $3,000 was chump change if you look at the percentage on it. But to me, since my money wasn't that grown up, I couldn't relate. I could not relate to it. And
Dude, I could be making $40,000 a month.
Off of that,
I would not pay $3,000 for nobody car a month.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see that as economical. And when I could have 3 cars for that amount, or 4 cars for that type of money. You know what I'm saying? All brand new. I'd rather have 4 cars and pay $3,000 a month than to have 1 car and pay $3,000 a month. That, to me, that's not smart. It's not. It just don't make any sense, because now you only have 1 car. Not only that, what happens when that goes down? Now you got $3,000 piece of shit in your in your driveway or in the shop.
And it goes back to showing you the value. There are some people that I know, they spend $10,000 without even blinking on a watch, a Rolex, or whatever name brand they want to call it, right? And they got a lot of them, but that's their habit. Their habit is, I got to have the latest greatest. There's people that I know spend a lot of money on purses. There's people I know invest a ton of money in their yards and on their houses, which I can relate to because that brings value. I'm all about the value. So digging into it, we've already kind of touched the topic and the issue of, just kind of the investment is smarter than just buying the name brands. If you had to tell your younger self, just say half your age, if you had to go back and tell your younger self, give them any kind of advice on brands versus investment, what would you say?
My younger self
Your younger
was all
self.
about the flash. I was all about the flash. I was all about having the top this, the top that. But I also understood having business, being an entrepreneur. So I tried to invest in myself as well. So I had a balance. So I mean, for me to tell my younger self, I would say stay the course. Don't veer off. Because if you stay on track, then whatever it is that you're working towards will come. It will come to fruition. So
Amen. Amen.
that's what I would tell my younger self. But like I said, I think at 20, 22, 23 years old, I had a pretty good job. I was doing IT at the time. And no, I don't know, somewhere around that time, maybe 25, 24, 25, 26. So I was doing IT, which that was when IT was first kind of new. I was making pretty good money doing it. And the job that I was working at, I was pretty much the help desk manager. So of course at that time, it was pretty good. So I kind of understood then that I needed to invest in my future. So that's why I went back to school. But I went back to school to finish up my degree in media. And so, I mean, so I kind of understood. I ain't gonna say I knew everything, but the stuff that I know now, I would definitely invest. I would have been in real estate a lot sooner. I would have been investing into my own businesses, and I probably would have invested into the internet then because when it first came out, there was a lot of people doing the .com stuff, and now these people so paid. They don't have to work ever again. They don't have to. I mean, like literally, the .com thing when it came, that would have been something that I probably would have jumped on.
There it is. So, getting into, I guess, going back to the question was, what would you tell your younger self? I guess that's my point. We have to be taught because, and I'm gonna veer off a second. Please be patient with me, but I think there's some things that need to be said, and this is not an excuse because I see this in all different neighborhoods, but particularly the neighborhood I grew up in. We were men at the age of 10, 12, 13 years old. We were taking care of our moms and trying to help out around the house, getting jobs and cutting grass, doing whatever we needed to do to make sure that we had money in the household. So all we knew is what we saw. And as a kid sitting on the block watching people pitch, all I saw was the fast life. And if I didn't have my grandmother in my life, I probably would end up a lot like the people that I saw on my block. She had sayings like, easy come, easy go. But these people that was pitching, they had the latest and greatest everything. And you was like, these were rock stars. They got the nicest cars, the whips and everything. This was way before Tig in the Basement. This was way before Yo MTV Raps. This was, you know what I'm saying? This was,
Right.
early 80s. We didn't know no better. We just knew what our uncles were like, our aunties like. And all they talked about was, look at me, I look good. We were flamboyant. We are flamboyant people. Even if you venture all the way back into our history, I mean, we are flamboyant people. So when you fast forward to this point, a lot of times growing up, I saw a lot of people that looked like me that didn't really have it. So to make themselves feel good, no matter if you had it or not, nobody else knew it. You always kept your teeth brushed, your hair, groomed, haircut. I don't care if your last penny was going to a haircut, and name brand wasn't all that important unless you struck a lick. But you had on clean shirts, clean shoes, and things of that nature. And we were taught
You
growing up. You tried to look that part because that's what we thought was making it, is that we got nice clothes. But if you really pay attention to the people who have already made it, I mean, the people who have already made it, they could care less. Most of them, let's no absolutes, but most people that I see that are billionaires and millionaires, they're wearing a pair of jeans, a V-neck shirt, maybe a nice watch piece. They got on glasses, not the top of line glasses. They might have a foreign piece, but it don't have no rims on it. They don't like a lot of attention. They don't talk a lot about their money. They just talk about what they like. They reward themselves. Us, our birthdays are 2-3 months. Our our birthday. If your birthday in March, it's every day that month. And when you're younger, and when you start growing up, I'm gonna celebrate just the weekend, or I'm gonna celebrate the whole week. And we flash and look at this, I got this roulette, and we got to take back the stuff that we just bought this weekend on Monday so we can have money for our rent, because we ain't investing properly. We haven't been taught properly. We could care less. So when you lack the knowledge, it's called ignorance. Or if you choose to ignore it because you're trying to be like somebody else or the grass is green on the other side, it becomes just that, ignorance. So fast forward back to it, you know what I'm saying? Draped in name brands versus investment. I think we both said it. Investments is more so the way for us now. We're growing maturely into adulthood. We have kids. We have people to look after. So it's not all about, you know what I'm saying, the name brand. It's about how much money can we invest and what's our return on investment, because guess what? As we get older, man, we got to have more income coming in. You never know. They can find
because
any
if you
reason.
got to sit down, you don't want to sit down and you can't work and make no money.
There it is.
So you gotta have something. You gotta have something in the back end.
Yeah.
Back end.
Even if something was to go terribly wrong and you think that you have actually calculated everything right for your investments, your 401k, and Lord, I mean, if there's Social Security left on top of any kind of investments you had, what if you have an emergency? What if your kids get in trouble? Get in jail or worse? I mean, you got to come out of pocket. There's no other income, so at certain ages, there's critical. I was at church one time, and I hate to take it to a religion. We just talked about religions about a week ago, but my pastor, which I love, Cameron Alexander, he had a question for us, which kind of left me stuck. And his question was, if you're 30 or less, please stand up. What are you doing with your life other than having a big house on a hill and a car? Have you given back? Not that you're gonna have you given back. What are you doing with your money? What's going to happen when you sit down or you retire? Because in the state of Georgia and Tennessee, this is a right to work state, so they don't really like older people in the workplace like that. A lot of us, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It is what it is. If you look back on most bell curves when you're looking at the work atmosphere, from 18 to your mid 20s. You're jumping around from job to job trying to find out what your niche is, right? Trying to figure out if this is going to work for me, right? Then you find something and you finish your college up, and now from 25, let's call it, to 42, you're climbing that ladder to get to that higher plateau, which you should be investing. And once you get to your mid 40s to about your 50s, you become a threat because of healthcare and all this other stuff. If something was to happen, oh my God, you slip and break a hip, then your health benefits is going to be more. So it's less likely that people like to hire people that are older. They can't learn. They don't learn as fast. Most of them. So you have to start thinking today for tomorrow, because tomorrow may not exist for you. So when I see people that look like myself, or even in my household, I have to come up with a strategy, and I have a background in sales on top of the entertainment. But the hardest people to sell are the people that look like me. The hardest people to sell are the people that live in my household or my family members, because they know me. So if I say
they want it for free,
not only they want it for free, but just say, for instance, if there's something that somebody wants, like my little 5-year-old today confronted me. He goes, "Dad, I want an action figure." Great, son. You spoiled. You got like 3 rooms full of toys. You won't get an action figure until your birthday or Christmas. And he was like, "Well, Daddy, I really want an action figure." I said, "Well, sir, you see Daddy working hard, right?" I said, "You can get out here and work for it." He's 5. He didn't understand the concept. He understands that every time he gets money, he puts that money into his bank account. So today, one of my tasks was actually taking the bamboo in the backyard and clearing it. I had a process. He looking out the window. He was like, "Dad, I see you working." I said, "Well, come on out here, bring your boots, your hat, and your gloves." So I put him to work. I had him raking up some of the leaves from the bamboo. As I stripped them of their fur and their branches to put them in the fire pit, he was actually stacking the bamboo, and he was tired. And he went in the house, got us some water, want to quit. I said, "No, as a team, if we start something as a team, we have to finish the team." So when he was cleaning up and he was tired and his spirit was broken a little bit, I looked at him. I said, "So what kind of action figure are you going to buy?" He goes, "What do you mean, Dad?" I said, "Well, you earned it. You came out here and you worked hard for what you said you wanted. So I want you to go in the house and I want you to get cleaned up. I want you to eat dinner, and I want you to get on a computer and you pick out any action figure that you want. It's a taste of reward." Sowing a seed to somebody that looks like me, my world, to let him know that nothing comes free. And if you're going to buy it with your own money and your heart's work, your sweat on your brow, then understand that that's money that you're sowing into something that you're not going to get back. That's an intangible item. That's something in 5 years that you're never going to get back, versus taking that same money and putting it into something that's going to have a return on investment. So
right?
At 5, it's kind of difficult to show that piece of it, but he's already saving. So I guess going back to my point, it's harder trying to sell people in my household and my family members abroad, mom, dad, because we're stuck in the same mentality. Yeah, they're not listening, especially your parents. They're like, "I'm your mom, I'm your dad. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want to do." So yeah, you can do what you want to do, but please don't beat me up because you don't see me a lot, because I'm over here getting to these goals. I'm investing. I'm putting the money aside. I'm saving when everybody else that looks like me is out standing in line for Jordans. And I ain't knocking him for that. Jordans are nice shoes. I like Mike. Mike is my favorite
Yeah,
player
I like
of all time.
Jordans. I mean, I got a couple of pair upstairs, but at the same time, I didn't buy them and out of priority. Let me say that I didn't buy them out of priority. It wasn't like all of my priorities was met, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get them, and that's what it was, and that's how I live. And like the lesson that you were teaching, Jay today, you know what I'm saying? You was teaching him that when you work, that a man works, then a man shall eat. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's okay, you're teaching him a valuable lesson. Work hard, and the reward you'll get the reward when you work hard for it. And he may not understand on the investment side, but he do understand that hey, I worked today and I got what I wanted, and he's gonna probably the next time come again and be like, hey, I want to help because I want another action figure. But
Yeah.
but the lesson that was taught is that if you work, you could get what you want. And that's gonna stick with him. That's gonna stay with him. And he's gonna grow up to be a respectful person because he knows that my reward comes from my work. And that's what we need to get back to as a people, teaching our kids because they want everything so microwave, and
Hmm.
it's such a microwave society that everything that comes in their way, they just gotta have it. I gotta have the new iPhone. I gotta have the new this. I gotta have the new that. I gotta have the latest and greatest. I gotta be this, that, and the third, and I gotta look like this. And I was telling my son, because he was saying, as soon as I get my first paycheck, I'm going to buy an iPhone. I was like, well, now his phone is kind of messed up. He dropped it. He was practicing and outside shooting basketball or whatnot. And he dropped his phone. And now it's all cracked. The screen is all messed up. But even before then, he kept saying that he wanted an iPhone. I want an iPhone. I want an iPhone. Dad, I want an iPhone. And I said, why? Why do you want an iPhone? Why it doesn't make any sense because but he wants it because all of his friends have iPhone. You done had all kinds of phones from since the fifth grade. Now you're a junior in high school and you yelling about an iPhone now all of a sudden, and it's only because you see the kids around you with it. That's why you want it. You don't want it because it's gonna make your life easier. You don't want it because you finna do anything other than play the games that you play on it. You don't want it because it's gonna make you money. So I was just trying to get him to understand that you're gonna take your first paycheck and put it on the iPhone. I mean, but he worked for it. So his reward is his iPhone. To me, him being a lot older, I want him to think about, hey, save your money. I know I want to know. I want a Galaxy Note because I'm not an iPhone fan. I want a Galaxy Note, but right now I can't afford it. Well, I could go and buy it, but it makes no sense to me when there's other things that I want or there other things that I need. There's no reason to buy it adverse to the priority. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah.
So
I mean, we talked a lot about today. I think we got right into it. I mean, we're going to actually take a little break and we'll come back with the golden hour today and discuss the bourbon and the cigar of the hour. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right, people.
yeah.
Talking Smoke Podcast, looking for the next big thing. I'm just saying, if you have golden vocals and you want a guest host right here on the podcast, email us right here. If you're an IG model and you think there's nobody hotter than you and you need a little exposure, if you can rap, you can sing, you can juggle fruit, whatever it is, Send us your stuff. 30-second video, nothing more. Pictures, and tell us exactly why you are the next hottest thing. Right here on Talking Smoke Podcast, where there's smoke, there's got to be fire. That's what we're looking for, is that fire. Hurry up. The window's closing. Email us right here. J. Calloway here for Artist Pick right here on Talking Smoke Radio. Now, normally we will give you a little drop indication stating that if you have any talent whatsoever and you want to be discovered right here on our television show or podcast, all you have to do is drop your information right here. Well, that's why I'm talking to you right now. This young lady did just that, and she's being discovered right here on Talking Smoke Radio. So let me just set the stage for a second. And that's exactly what we're giving her right now. It's the stage because she is deserving. This young lady has the look. This young lady has the vocal. She can sing like a golden songbird. And I don't know what you guys been doing. You've been sleeping on the rock somewhere. Here's Chattanooga's native China Monet.
Hop in your whip, grab your keys back and you come through. I'll teach you a lesson, I'll be a blessing. As long as you're ready, you can come get it. Stay by my side and I got you. Sit back, relax and enjoy the view. Drinking and chasing the hand in your system. After we're done, call my girls like I missed them. Plenty of time if you wanted some more. Don't worry, I got you, you don't have to go.
Welcome back from that exciting break. I know you just couldn't wait to get back from that kitchen, raiding it for Oreos and Gatorade and hot Cheetos and all that great stuff. But the topic that we are talking about, DJ De Niro and myself, TJ, Tiger Fuller is on a little bit of a break. We wish him well, and we will talk to him again next week as we talk about some craziness, y'all. But let's get right back into the particulars right second. DJ De Niro has the the honor in talking about our bourbon of today. Our bourbon of today is brought to you in part by DJ Nero.
Well, okay. It is the world's number one bourbon whiskey, Jim Beam. Jim Beam. Yep, that Jim Beam has been around for 225 years. It's not very pricey, but it's very smooth. A lot of people look for bourbons, especially straight bourbons, to be very, how can I say it, very potent. Usually they're like 90 proof, 92 proof or something like that. This is 80 proof, the standard proof. And it's very smooth. And the price point on it is really good. I think you can get a fifth of Jim Beam for like $17, $18. And at times I drink Jim Beam. I like the way that it tastes. And to pair it with a Cohiba. Cohiba cigar is a really good cigar that goes well with Jim Beam. So the bourbon for the day and the cigar for the day, the bourbon is Jim Beam, the cigar is Cohiba.
There it is. You heard first right here at Talking Smoke Podcast, where there's smoke, got to be fire. So we're going to get back into the particulars with Jim Beam. Oh boy, how about them out? So before we leave for the break, we would talk about the topic of the day, which was we're talking about people that are draped in name brands versus people that rather invest. We're not saying one will be better than the other. We were just kind of weighing in on the topics. What our I don't want to say issues. What we personally thought, what our opinions were, and what we dealt with and came into with, and even as younger adolescents and young men, we both kind of chimed in on that. When we were younger, I mean, we did it too. not at that extent, because I know for myself, I used to get a lot of I got a lot of attention, and I promise you, I wouldn't spend a whole bunch of money. Uh, if you from the South, if you from Atlanta, you spent some time here, you heard of places called the flea market. So there's ways to look good, and in my father's household and my mother's household, we did a lot of creasing. If you don't know what that's, some spray starch. I'm taking y'all back. I'm telling my age, but if the jeans had a crease down the middle, your Air Force Ones or your dope boys or your gangster Nikes or your feelers were super clean, and your T-shirt didn't have those stains in it, people thought you was well off. So that's what I displayed. I felt like a man made the clothes, and the clothes don't make the man. That's just me. You, on the other hand, I mean, boom, that's what it could be something different. But just getting back to the topic in closing, DJ De Niro, anything you want to share with not only the youth, but the community or people in general on brands versus investments?
I say in closing, I say put your money, make your money work for you. Don't work hard for your money. Because, well, let me rephrase that. Work hard to get your money, but don't work hard for the money, if that makes sense. Make your
Work
money
hard,
work for you.
work smart, not
Because,
harder.
right, if you make your money work for you, it just keep coming. It just keep building. It gets a snowball effect. The momentum is great and the return will be great if you put it in the right places for return. But if you think that at the end of the week your paycheck is meant for you to go buy Jordans and purses and jewelry and weed and drink and all these other things that doesn't make you any money or expensive cars, you are going to be working very hard to maintain your money.
All right. You heard DJ De Niro dropping some serious knowledge right here on Talk and Smoke Podcast. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So, in closing with me, yours, J. Calloway. If you don't know, put your fingers to the keyboard and Google somebody. I'm going to leave you with something that I tried to give. If this is my brother, you're my son, you were my friend, I would say the same thing. I don't think I should try to hide it, because a lot of times people have their own agenda anyway. They have their own avenue. So I'm not getting paid for this advice. This advice is free. One thing that I personally enjoyed was The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a paperback book. Funny thing about it, before quarantine, my barber actually gave it to me. He said he was trying to give me his book, and I went and bought one. And I actually did the audio version because time is money and money is time. So on the way to my large commute back and forth, I listened to this book. And this book was based on a civilization of people who were very wealthy. In the midst of the desert, they built wealth. All out of one inquiry. There was one guy that was richer than everybody else. The king actually invited him into the quarters and basically said, listen, why should you have all the wealth? It's enough wealth for everybody. And the guy broke it down. Wealth won't die with you. And he taught everybody how to get wealth. And just like DJ De Niro was saying, it's about allowing your money to work for you. Now, it depends on where you are in life, right? You have 100% of a circle, a pie, whatever you want to call it, right? The first 10%, if you believe in God, that 10% goes to God, right? Second 10%, that goes to you. Do whatever you want to do with that. The third 10%, boom, that goes into savings. That means doesn't touch it. That's the beginning stages. Everything else, you should start paying your bills, pay them off. Don't ever owe any other guy. As time goes along, you could actually start living off of less and less and less and less and less. As it was said in the book, it was basically stated is create armies to work for you. Buy a house, that's an investment. Fix the house up. If you don't like it, flip it, sell it, rent it out. If you love it, stay in it, continue putting money into it, buy another home. Let that home, that second home that you're buying, rent that one out. Airbnb, whatever you want to call it. Take that money to pay said mortgage off faster on house number one.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have bukus of money. Don't go spending it. The ideology of most men is that we got to spend it, There's two different types of mentality. There's poverty and there's the mankind of wanting to actually invest their money. A lot of us, like me, I was brought up into a society where if you got money, you got to lick. What we gonna do? Even though I was always a business guy and I flipped money from the age of 10 years old all the way up until now, you get influenced by the people around you, your environment, even your mother, your parents, and things of that nature. And if you're not careful, you can get kind of soaked up into that. People that you love make you feel bad. Callaway, let's go hang out. Callaway, let's go do this. Callaway, don't go to Miami on that reward trip because, I can't go. You have to be true to self. Continue investing in yourself. Yeah, I say pay the money, go to these seminars. People that are not like you. Don't feel bad. The people who are the wealthiest are normally the people who are the loneliest people in the world. We always have that saying is, I got to make it to the top. It's lonely at the top, and it's fearful for a person who's always accepted to get to a plateau and have no friends and no family that really understand them, because they will fight you to the death when you try to bring them a plate of food. So I offer jewelers. If I learn something, I'm going to try to the best of my ability to practice it. And I don't care who you are, what you look like, creed, color. I don't care nothing about that. If you're smart enough to listen to me and I give you a seed and you can plant that seed and eat, I respect and love you. Man, woman, or different. I could care less. That's how it was given to me. It's a picture. You interpret it just like you interpret your value. Some people say, hey, I got to have red bottoms. Some people say I got a Bugatti. Some people say I got a Honda Accord. Guess what? I know it's going to last 200,000-300,000 miles, or a Lexus 200,000-300,000 miles. I'm going to put an oil change and set of tires on. I'm going to rock and roll. I'm good. Whoever you are, and that's how I started this off. Look into the mirror, to self, thine be true, and actually understand where you are. And if you're comfortable and content, a guy or a woman, a person that's actually trying to get wealth, not just for yourself, but for a legacy that they're leaving, they never are comfortable. Those people are never comfortable. They're always working. They're burning the candle from both ends. They're always constantly thinking and planning and talking to people that may have a lot more than what they have. So I know I'm long-winded, but in short, don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. We talk about a lot. You're talking about brands. Create your own brand and have those brands pay you. If you like fashion, create your own line. Oh, it's hard. Research it. In this day and age, we can say, hey, Siri, hey, Google, come on. You can sit through and make it happen. The point that I'm making is that a lot of us, we're lazy. And we're a microwave society. DJ De Niro said that earlier. We'd rather have everything on a pedestal right now. We don't want to invest any time. We don't want to put anything into it, but we want to get everything out of it. So, in closing, invest in yourself. And to yourself, be true. This is Talking Smoke Podcast. I am Jay Calloway. This is DJ De Niro. Shouts out to our other host, Tiger Fuller. Next show, we've been talking about brands and we've been talking about investments. Tune in next week as we talk about sagging. Is it a trend? Is it fashion? Or is it just plain old ignorant? Right here on Talking Smoke Podcast. Because where there's smoke, there's got to be fire.